Welcome to our tour of the bunker complex of the former Reich Chancellery in Berchtesgaden. In this video, we'll take you deep into this historic structure, exploring the extensive network of tunnels and learning about the technical features of the bunker. We'll also shed light on the dramatic events that took place here during the final days of World War II. Enjoy this fascinating tour. The main entrance to the bunker was located in the basement of the smaller annex of the Reich Chancellery. However, we begin our bunker tour from one of the emergency exits. A quick look at the map of the bunker complex shows our entry point. Through a twisted staircase, we first descend about 35 meters to reach the level of the main tunnel where the caverns are located. Today, surface water enters the complex through some air shafts. The tunnel leads on one side to the main entrance of the Reich Chancellery and on the other to the barracks of the bunker. Until the end of March 1945, work on the bunker continued, resulting in an underground labyrinth with a total length of 550 meters. At both ends of the main tunnel, the doors were airtight and equipped with gas locks in the upper part. The walls of the tunnel were between 30 and 60 centimeters thick, and at entrances and lintels, they were even up to 1.20 meters thick. After about 50 meters, we come across the drinking water reservoir, which was filled from the Reich Chancellery. From here, pumps supplied the lower-lying caverns with drinking water. The journey continues deeper down, with steps leading up to 40 meters underground. The caverns and passages of the bunker formed a perfect command center deep inside the mountain. In the generator room, the foundations of the powerful diesel generator are still clearly visible. The remnants of the ventilation system can also be seen, and the Reich Aviation Ministry provided a diesel emergency generator. The entrance to the generator room appears to have been widened, suggesting that the generator was likely stolen by looters after the war. The entire complex is, by the way, almost identical in design to the bunker systems of Bormann, Goring, and Hitler on the Obersalzberg. Drainage channels ran beneath the floor of the tunnels, collecting and diverting surface water from the outer tunnel walls. In 1944, the telephone center was equipped by the Reich Post with 10 telephone extensions and 6 teleprinters by order of the minister. Adjacent to this section, separated by an intermediate door, was Section B, where several identical barracks called chambers were located. These were likely the rooms of Lammers and his closest staff. The chambers consisted of 3 consecutive rooms connected by doors. The last room was separated by a partition wall, and here too, looters dismantled all the furnishings. The gravel floor suggests that parquet flooring was once laid here. Remnants of the lighting system can still be seen. And under the main tunnel, the ventilation, power, and water lines ran. The interior of the bunker was not comparable to that of Bormann or Goring. Although it lacked no technical equipment, Lammers had to do without custom-made furniture due to a shortage of skilled labor and had to settle for simpler designs. Adjacent to the chambers was the machinery room, which also housed the electrical system and fuse boxes. Here stood the blower boxes for the ventilation system. Fresh air was brought into the caverns through side ventilation shafts. The last room was the cavern with the sanitary facilities. Following this corridor, one reaches an emergency exit located near the railway line to Berchtesgaden. Eyewitnesses reported that Hitler had a special train stop here several times so he could enter the Reich Chancellery unnoticed through this emergency exit. On April 24, 1945, State Minister Lammers, Reich leader Böhler, and Hermann Goring were arrested at Goring's estate on the Obersalzberg by SS Obersturmbannführer Dr. Bernhard Frank. This was in response to an order from Hitler dated June 29, 1941, which stated that if the Führer were incapacitated, his deputy would assume full responsibility. On April 22, 1945, after receiving yet another bad report in the Reich Chancellery, Hitler is said to have shouted, "I have no more orders to give. Goring should take over and negotiate. If negotiations are needed, the Reich Marshal can handle it better than I can." Informed of this statement the next day by one of his generals, Goring assumed that Hitler was incapacitated, likely trapped in Berlin, and sent a telegram to the Reich Chancellery in Berlin.
My Führer, General Koller, has informed me, based on statements made to him by General Oberst Jodl and General Christian, that you have referred certain decisions to me. They emphasize that, should negotiations become necessary, I would be better positioned to handle them than you in Berlin. These remarks have both surprised and deeply concerned me, and I feel compelled to act. If I do not receive a response from you by 10 p.m., I will assume that you have lost your ability to act freely. With utmost respect, Hermann Goring.
In Berlin, Martin Bormann handed the telegram to Hitler, cautiously suggesting treason. Hitler, suspecting a takeover by the remaining high-ranking Nazis in Berchtesgaden, ordered the arrest of Goring, Lammers, and their followers for high treason. In a radio message to the commander of the Obersalzberg, Dr. Frank, Hitler ordered the arrest of Goring, Lammers, and their entourage on charges of high treason. Whether this arrest was actually ordered by Hitler, or if it was part of a plot by Bormann, cannot be determined with certainty today. If you want to hear the full story of Dr. Frank about the last days of the Third Reich at Obersalzberg, and the arrest of Hermann Goring, check out the video description or the pinned comment. We have linked the complete 40-minute video there. When Goring was arrested by Frank at his estate, Lammers and Reichsleiter Buhler were also present and taken into custody. Lammers was transferred to his Reich Chancellery in Berchtesgaden the following day, where he, along with Minister Funk, experienced the bombing on April 25, 1945, in his bunker beneath the Reich Chancellery. The Führer's restricted area on the Obersalzberg was largely destroyed during the bombing raid by the Royal Air Force. Goring, whose house was now destroyed, was taken by SS members to Mauterndorf in the Austrian region of Lungau. Soon after, the Reich Security Service and the SS disbanded, and looters began to swarm the area, taking anything of value. The Reich Chancellery in Berchtesgaden was not bombed and survived the attack unscathed. On April 29, 1945, Lammers handed over the Reich Chancellery, and it was peacefully surrendered to the Americans. On May 4, 1945, Berchtesgaden was surrendered to the Americans without a fight. The 101st Airborne Division, under General Maxwell Taylor, took control of the Reich Chancellery office in Berchtesgaden. On May 15, 1945, General Omar Bradley and General Major Hazel landed at the small Einring airfield near Bad Reichenhall. In a Mercedes from Hitler's fleet, they drove to Berchtesgaden, where the 101st Airborne Division was assembled for a ceremonial roll call on the grounds of the former Reich Chancellery. General Taylor had taken quarters in Field Marshal Keitel's house. Outside the house, General Bradley greeted the troops, followed by an award ceremony in which both the Silver Star and the Legion of Merit were presented. The site was then repurposed as the headquarters for an American rest and recreation facility for soldiers. Since the Reich Chancellery was located within a military security zone of the U.S. Army, Bavarian authorities were initially denied access to the buildings. As a result, the Reich Chancellery was spared the fate of similar buildings from the Nazi era, which were demolished and removed. In 1996, the Reich Chancellery, with a total land area of approximately 10 hectares, was returned to the Federal Republic of Germany. However, large parts of the inventory were missing. Investigations by the Munich tax office revealed that the U.S. forces had cataloged the furniture and legally transferred it to other U.S. quarters. Official statements claimed that the inventory would eventually be returned. For several years, the building stood empty and seemed to fall into disrepair. Although the property and buildings were up for sale, no serious buyers came forward. Even the municipality of Bischofswiesen did not submit a binding purchase offer. In 1999, a neighboring farmer acquired a 1,000 square meter meadow that was part of the former Reich Chancellery grounds. More years passed without a determined buyer until, in October 2001, several German newspapers reported an article that caused a stir in Bischofswiesen. What had happened? The neighboring farmer, together with 4 other local buyers, had quickly acquired the approximately 5-hectare area of the Reich Chancellery, including its buildings, outmaneuvering other interested parties. Through swift and decisive action, the buyers succeeded in securing the property. The house of Field Marshal Keitel will continue to be used as a private residence and is being carefully restored. with the wood on the upper part of the exterior facade being painstakingly sanded down. The Edda Häusl is also privately used, with renovations still pending. The Reich Chancellery itself is being partially converted into a residential building and a medical practice. The new owner has skillfully ensured that the original structure and layout are largely preserved. Additionally, great care is being taken to maintain and conserve the building's now heritage-protected original condition. The purchase of the former Reich Chancellery by a local resident will continue the history of this building, preserving it as a warning reminder for future generations. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel. Did you know that 98% of our viewers haven't subscribed yet? You might miss out on our future uploads, so make sure to subscribe now and never miss a video. See you next time.